Why life never changes for motivational seminar junkies. Okay, this is going to be a bit controversial, but the self-help industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's going to keep growing. Now, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar. I think his content is amazing, and I really admire motivational speakers. They bring a lot of energy and positivity to the world, and they inspire people to really make a difference and change their lives for the better. So I think there's a significant place for motivational speakers and people that are pushing this kind of self-help, self-improvement agenda. I think there is a category there, and I hope it keeps growing because I think it is a net positive. But here's the catch. Most of the people that went to those seminars, 10 years later, 20 years later, their life never changed. Those are the people I'm a little concerned about. I'm worried about that more than anything. I'm not knocking motivational speakers. I'm knocking sort of this idea of continually absorbing material but not putting it into action. And they're basically the junkies are missing the point, right? They're missing the point of why a motivational seminar exists. Okay? They're missing the point. You're going there to actually improve your life. So a few things. One, maybe you should be taking notes. Again, either take notes or really absorb the material, or get notes from afterwards, or ask for notes that you can follow and study and implement into your life. That's maybe one thing. The next thing is don't overwhelm yourself with how much content that there is, or what's really happening here. You maybe want to implement a couple of strategies, but try not to go to the seminar, absorb it all, and go to the next seminar, absorb that, and then lose what you learned over here, right? Because it will kind of fall off the map. You see, when people go to these seminars, there's a huge motivational boost. When I was in San Francisco at Tony Robbins seminar, there's a huge boost at the beginning, and then a week later, I went back to the normal state of mind that I had before. So that seminar, although it was a nice initial push, things started to fall off the wagon for me, or everything kind of reverted back to what it was before I consumed this content. So that's why you have to be open-minded, but also aware of what kind of content there is, and try to implement it and be serious about implementation. A big part of this is taking action. If you're kind of like a junkie and you love the learning aspect, but you never want to really implement it, it's kind of like somebody who's constantly reading books, and then they're 80 or 90 years old and haven't actually implemented any of what they learned, and they haven't shared what they learned with anyone. They haven't told anyone anything. It basically is just kept to themselves, and they're still the same person that they wanted to change 30 or 40 years ago, right? You see, if you really want the change, you have to take steps beyond the consumption. And this is where the seminar junkies will fall into the consumptive behaviors, because it's very addictive. It's awesome. It's very positive. But the idea of actually putting those steps into motion, that's not interesting to them. Like someone going to school for 30 years doesn't really want to start the business. They just want to study business for the rest of their lives. Now, if they are okay with that, if you are okay and you are aware of the fact that your life isn't changing and you're satisfied with that, great. But if you're dissatisfied with the lack of progress 10 years later, you maybe need to take a step back, start thinking about implementation, or stop thinking about the 30-year plan of dreams that you wish you could have. Start thinking about the steps, because these motivational seminars do tell you the steps, and there is a lot of positivity and rah-rah around it. But if you don't take the steps, then it's kind of like a waste. It's like an educational waste. It's like if you go to school, I already mentioned it, going to business school and then not using the business schooling to do anything with. Like, you have to put all this stuff in action. So that's really what I'm getting at here. And look, there are a lot of people and their life changes for the better. It does improve because they took the steps. A lot of these junkies, I'm noticing that their state and their, I don't know, their actual happiness levels, when you drill into it, they're not as happy as it could be. Because a lot of the happiness is actually derived from activity and from implementing steps into your own life. You see a motivational speaker and their life seems so perfect, but the idea of maybe trying to do those things to be at that level of success, you have a amazing multi-billion-dollar businessman who's doing a nice public speech, and you kind of look at that and you're like, this is awesome education. And afterwards, you don't do the suggestions like, oh, work 20 hours a day. Yeah, I'm totally going to do that. I'm totally going to do that. And like sleep less and eat better. Yeah, I'm totally going to do that. I'm excited. I'm going to do it. And then a week later, you don't, because it's hard. And then you feel guilty because you didn't do what you were really planning on doing. So then you just feel bad about yourself. As if you just binged on a bunch of ice cream or donuts. And then you feel bad about yourself. And you don't really want to do that. You're actually just beating yourself up. So then the motivational seminar gives you this boost. And then there's potential that a week later, because you didn't see progress, you actually be less happy than you were before you went to the motivational seminar. Because you thought within 7 days that life would change. Because everything is so quick. Oh, my life should change very quickly. 7 days, boom, my life should be amazing. It's a long-term process. It's not going to happen overnight. Now, like, if you're getting a lot of positive energy out of this and you're seeing some incremental improvements, then maybe continue doing what's working. Anything incremental is great, but if you're still continuing to beat yourself up, you might need to take a step back and say, whoa, maybe I can just like implement 1 or 2 things, and then that's good. Like if you had this book that shows you exactly how to start a business, the best thing is to probably just like follow the checklist of things they're giving you. Just follow the logical checklist. Don't go off and read the next book or that book. There is a time and place for reading, right? You can read, but if you're stuck in reading mode and you wanted to start that business 10 years ago, there's something neurologically not connecting here. Because it shouldn't take you 10 years to finally start that business. You don't need another motivational seminar to finally take that action. You literally have to stop and do it now. And I don't want to sound motivational here, but I'm realizing that I kind of am. Because I have a significant appreciation for positive energy and people who are really trying to get their lives on track. I really have admiration for all that. But don't get stuck in the escape. I would call it this escape. A motivational seminar is kind of an escape because it makes you feel good. It's like a Disney movie. Like, I go and I watch a Disney movie because I want to escape from whatever bad circumstance is happening. Like, Disney movies, they give me that escape that I want. Motivational seminar, same thing. For people who are seeking self-help, they want that escape. And they love the positive energy. They love the interactions. And potential friendships can be built if you actually make the effort to build the friendships. So I went to the seminar. I didn't make any effort to build friendships. It kind of felt forced. Like, go and shake the hands of the person next to you. Then awkwardly approach somebody and see how the body language changes. It's actually very interesting psychology and a lot of learning behind it. But I kind of got the gist of it after that. And I didn't need to see another Tony Robbins seminar after that. Like, I got the point. Now it's like, okay, fine, I'll go take action and start taking the steps. I'll follow some of the checklist items. So it did actually help. But once again, I'm not like a junkie. I'm not obsessing over this. I'm actually taking the steps, trying to implement some of the steps. So what am I getting at with this? No, it's not a bad thing that life never changes. I just want to make that clear. I don't want to sound all negative. Like, if you're totally content with that, and you can accept that, then that's powerful. Just accept that your motivational seminar might not change your life, but maybe it's something that you enjoy, like a Disney movie. Just realize that. Like, the Disney movies, they're not really changing my life, but I'm enjoying it. So if you can get the enjoyment out of it, then I think that takes a lot of pressure off of you. Because the motivational seminar does have this little pressure, right? It's basically saying to you, go, take action, and do it now. And it's kind of putting some force on you, which you may or may not need. And that initial push could be enough. It could be the catalyst for life change, or to take you from rock bottom and then raise you up. Awesome. If it's doing that for you and you're seeing it, something's working. But again, I'm talking about the junkies here, and they're looking back on their lives with significant regret because they went to all these seminars, and 20 years later, they're not happy. I was watching this seminar thing, and this very inspirational spiritual leader was talking to somebody, and they had been consuming that spiritual leader's content for over 10 years. And that person admitted that their life had not changed after 10 years, and they're in the same place they were 10 years ago. They literally admitted that being a junkie was not really helping. And the spiritual leader was, the answer was kind of vague. I mean, most of the content was kind of vague, but it's basically, well, maybe you're kind of putting too much pressure on yourself, or maybe you need to kind of think about the present more, or maybe you need to stop expecting the change. Actually, being kind of in the moment, that's reasonable. I would kind of agree. And that's basically it. These junkies are kind of being hard on themselves. They're thinking that life should change drastically from all of this content they're consuming. Maybe they need to kind of take a breath. Say, whoa, the motivation is nice, but right now, in this moment, I need to take step one. Step one needs to happen. Good. Okay, they can realize that, and they're getting out of junkie territory. I kind of talked all over the place on this. Usually I'll have notes, but sometimes I just kind of want to just talk it out, you know? And I think overall, it has its benefits. It's just implementation, action over the long term, and seeing your progress and actually realizing the progress, and then going that way. Then your life can change. Okay, hopefully that was insightful. Okay, until next time, bye.